Like, we got the sprinklers going. See, what's going to happen to you when you're on my set and you come up and talk to me? I'm going to say, you're fired. No one talks to me on set. Ever. You don't just walk up to me when I'm sitting next to my wife and talk to me. You can send a message through an email and I'll reply to you days later. You will be quiet on set and only say your lines. Because you've been instructed as an actor to memorize certain lines. You're probably getting those lines right now. It goes for everybody that I know as an actor. You memorize the lines and you only say the lines only. You don't say anything to the director. Nothing at all. You stay in character and you stay in character. You stay in character and you stay in character, or you're fired immediately. If you walk up to the director and say, "Excuse me," you're fired immediately. Leave the set. Call security. That's how quick it's going to be when you're dealing with me. You'll know your lines and you'll only say the lines only. You won't say anything else. You have no right to. You are a puppet and you'll do as I say. Now, if we're doing an improv, then you'll be instructed what the improv is about, which will be surrounded by the character and the story. If you fall out of that, you'll be fired immediately. A lot of people don't care, but they get fired on set. It happens all the time. The best thing to do is if you're an actor and you're on set, don't say anything at all. The director's there for a purpose, to serve the Lord Almighty. And we don't want to hear your voice that's sponsored by the devil. Right? We don't want to hear your voice unless you're saying the correct lines. If you say the wrong lines, then you get fined. Or we go, "Hey, this is the real line. Get it right." You got it? If you want to correct anything, I'm also the writer, and you'll be fired. So I'm the writer that's on set, and you'll be fired. If you go, "Oh, wait a minute, I wanted it fired," I don't care who you are, you're fired. You will do everything I say on set, or you'll be fired immediately. All my actors will cooperate as if in the military. All right, we got one at Dairy Queen. It's going to be exactly 2.8 miles. We'll be there in 6 minutes. The time will be 8:33 p.m. as in the year of age that Jesus Christ died. He died at the age of 33 on his mission. We'll be at Dairy Queen soon. Doing this vlog for a reason. It's for my protection because I don't want to lose it when I'm over there. In-person behavior is so much more important than me talking in a box. This is like a little camera box thing right here, okay? See? So it's so that I can monitor my behavior, find out, okay, I'm not getting my way here. Let's deal with it and let's find the right way to get through behavior. You know, to get through good behavior, to be good and to have good behavior. That's the whole purpose of this. And when it monitors out and it not flatlines, but I don't like to use flatline, but when it stables off and I can do a whole vlog, there's no outburst, then I know, wait a minute, I'm going in the right direction. Now, I'm not getting all my needs, but that's part of it because I'm not going to get all my needs when I arrive. When I arose there, arose is not the right word. When I arrived there, there's the English major. When I arrived there back in 2001, and I believe in Long Beach, I did have some emotional problems. I did a lot of jogging, and I was able to work some of those problems through. I was able to get through it. But I wasn't there yet. One time I went to a median and peeled out, you know. A little bit of road rage, but I never really chased anybody. You're in your car a very long time. And you have to learn to control your emotions. If you can do that, you'll make it. If you can learn to control your emotions, you don't have to be the nicest guy in the world. It really helps if you're just a dynamite nice guy. Those guys always make it. But you don't have to be the super nice guy. You just have to be willing to control your emotions. And when things don't go your way, you don't act like the actor that throws a big fit to get everything, because it does not work. So let's do it now. Let's throw a fit. The cops are bad. My dad is horrible. He beat me, blah, blah, blah. Let's get it all out. Let's tell the truth and get it all out. I learned that from a director in Austin when I was in Rivers and Ravines. He said, get all the acting out. Get it all out first. Then we'll start acting. You know, it took a long time. I'm still old. I'm like 49. I was old then. I was a young man. I was in my almost 20. I was 19. That's still a young man when I was learning this. So let's get it all out and just whatever it is that I have to say. Stories about Teddy Zonker, stories about my dad, stories about Texas Wesleyan, stories about UNT, stories about the Actor Studio, stories about New York City, stories about 9/11. Let's get it all clean and out there. So I can say, look, I don't have to talk about this because I already vlogged it. I was already emotional about it. I already got it out there. That way, when we arrive, we're doing nothing but floating down the river. Do you see what I'm saying? That we're just waiting and we're being patient and waiting and being patient. So we don't have this attitude when we go. So yes, I'm going to get 170 pounds. Yes, I'm going to control my eating habits, and I'm going to make sure by monitoring myself that I'm ready to go. And by the time I start to leave for Hollywood to start my career, I'm going to know 100% that that's the guy that I would hire. Okay? We're on our way. We're going to figure it out. Now, I'm going to continue this teleplay, Skinny Pete and Friends. I'm going to continue it. I think it's a good idea. I'm going to continue it because I can learn from these bad characters. Charles Baker, I'm at a Dairy Queen. Charles Baker played this character for a reason. It's not the biggest role in the world, but like there's a whole saying, there are no small roles. They're just small actors. But Matt Jones played this character, Badger. And these are real characters. There are real people that breathed oxygen and talked and did weird things and worked for weird people and did all this weird stuff. So I'm going to explore all that kind of stuff because that's going to show my psyche. And I'm going to vlog what I write. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to basically write a story that's a little bit different than what they did in Better Call Saul. I'm trying to get a shot of Dairy Queen right over here. I really can't right here. This is the wrong one, but I'm trying to get a story that's a little bit different than Better Call Saul. I'm trying to find redemption for Skinny Pete and redemption for Badger. Redemption for James McGill, Jimmy, Slippin' Jimmy, and redemption for Kim Wexler. And they're going to do it through their YouTube show because the characters themselves, especially Skinny Pete and Badger, and they're running their own YouTube show and making money off CBD products. So they're still kind of tied up, but CBD is legal in a lot of states, so it's not bad anymore. They kind of went legit. And now they have their own YouTube show, and they can talk about their testimony of how they got to be multimillionaires. So that's what the story's about. It's like a positive side to Better Call Saul and a positive side to what Breaking Bad was. And there might be a little bit of evangelical in there too, and somewhere along the way. And who better to do it than Saul Goodman, who is really James McGill, kind of becoming Paul. But they're still running from the cartel. So that's part of the adventure too, because they can still get in trouble from the cartel now that they're okay and legit with the law. And in the beginning scene, I think Skinny Pete says, "You're free, man. You can curse if you want to," you know, because he doesn't want to curse because James McGill, who should be sitting there, is like Mr. Goody Good. You know, he is Mr. Captain Johnny on the spot, whatever that means, but he's Johnny on the spot because he came right out of prison and he wants to be good. You know, he learned. He was rehabilitated. You know, that's what the story is going to focus on. Check out the time when there's a drive-through. You can't really tell because they tint a lot of these windows. It's saying 10 p.m. right here, 11 p.m. I'm not remembering today being a holiday, but I could be wrong. I know that Mother's Day is on its way. I know a car came through here and then took off. So when a store is closed, they'll ask you to take a photo. There, they just asked why. I said closed for the day. It's closed for the day. So I hit the button, closed for the day, and then it asks a description, closed for the day. All right, we've got one at Whataburger. Remember, Harmon Dobson wanted to create a cheeseburger that would fit in both your hands. 0.4 miles, I mean 4 minutes. We will arrive at 8:48 in the PM. That'll be arrival time right there. It's the Whataburger's literally. I think Linda and I did a bad weather kind of vlog right by that Whataburger, and she got upset and started crying because it looked like a tornado. Well, there was a tornado warning, but it didn't hit in our area. It was when the tornadoes were coming through town, and she got very upset and started crying. I think she got out and went to 7-Eleven and took a sedative. If you know what I mean. All right, there is the Whataburger. And this is where we had the strange weather. They don't make it easy though, do they? Bluetooth headsets, $20. 817-476-0029. Bluetooth headsets, just $20. 817-476-0029. Get them at the General. And your battery, too. If you need one. I had to get a battery a couple winters ago. I hate getting a battery. All right, we're going to spin around and get to your Whataburger. No, I'm just here for a pickup. Do y'all have any specials? Over there is a cat on top of like a dumpster. I can barely see it. Anyway. I want to say I'm very, very proud of Adam he's JWW Williams. I always think of his father's JWW. Adam the Woo doing the Superman filming locations and the one and only Manhattan. Now I have to say something about Adam the Woo, especially this particular filming locations, because obviously you know that I'm slow. We all agree to that. Or I'm a genius. One of the two. So to some, I'm slow. To others, I'm a genius. And possibly maybe both. But regardless, I have to take my hat off to Adam the Woo for doing the filming locations of the great director Richard Donner. And by the way, on this first vlog, that was it was the Chrysler Building, not the Empire State Building. But I take my hat to you because there's no place in the city that's darker than New York City at times. Good night. Good luck. Godspeed. Sorry about that. I went back and watched it. It was dark, and I thought maybe they cut his show. It's still there. It's still there. I wasn't gonna say that, but when I watched it, it went completely black, and then it turned back on when I went through it again. I was like, oh my god, didn't make any sense. I'm still watching it though. It just got all dark for a minute, and then it does that sometimes. You know, we're dealing with YouTube. For a minute, I thought, oh my goodness, how am I gonna say this without really saying it? Because I didn't think they really cut the show. No, they didn't. It's still there. That is the order, the Whataburger. And that's 24 hours Whataburger. Harmon Dobson had a dream to create a cheeseburger that would fit in two of your hands. So when you grab that cheeseburger, put it in both your hands. He died on a personal plane. He was flying it straight up in the air. It was him and his partner. The engine failed, and they crashed to the ground and died a horrible death. But he was able to create the one and only Whataburger, which people in the South say Whataburger. I don't know why. Don't question them. It's Whataburger, but they say Whataburger. All right, we're going to drop it off at your doorstep, and I got to find out the mileage because I'm either genius or I'm slow. One of the two. I really don't. We can't get there yet. There's a reason why. Receipt. We gotta have the receipt. So without the receipt, we can't do anything. So I gotta go into the Whataburger, which is right here. Harmon Dobson created, I'm gonna say the 50s, I don't know. It'll probably say on the wall, 1950s or something. They never give me the receipt. They give me what's called an itemized receipt without the pricing on it. Got to put the pricing in it. So there's no smoking. You used to get smoke in a Whataburger. The theater critic would come here. His name was Perry Stewart. He died of throat cancer. He did all the theater reviews, and we would go to Whataburgers. We'd catch him in there eating a Whataburger, so we'd go in there and get a Whataburger just so we could sit around. My friend Brian Beck is an actor. All right, well, he used to be. I don't know, he's a clown that writes freelance, or he was a clown. I don't know if he's still a clown. I think he was called Bonzo. I was called JoJo. Here's this right here. There he is. The founder, Harmon Dobson. Harmon Dobson. It's a 1950s photograph. He died in a personal plane. Personal plane went up and then crashed. Went 100 feet in the air. Engine failed. Died. Him and his business partner died together. That's the Whataburger right there. There's another thing right over here. 1961. It smells like a restroom in here. And this one right here is Whataburger Little League. Wait with anticipation for their post-game meal. I thought I had to show that cut because I watched it turn black. I was like, they cut it. No, it worked the second time. I don't know, it's never happened before, but it's very strange. New York City is a very strange place. There's a cartoon version of him right here. And that looks like Barbara Bush, but I'm assuming that's his mom or wife, one of the two. There's a big message right here. I'm gonna be here for a while. This is all from 1950s when it opened. So it was a hamburger stand.
Yes. Thank you.
The pride and responsibility of serving customers. That's what set them apart, was their pride and their responsibility.
Oh, I'm so sorry. When I came through the driver, I did have an order. She gave me an order, but I don't have, it's not the ticket. I have the itemized report that shows the food. What I don't have is the one with the price on it. And she told me to do that. It's not your fault. It's just the way they do it. They do it everywhere, every single place. Basically, what you put on is an itemized receipt without the price. I have to have the price. It's still into a special app. So basically, it's basically a basic receipt, like a customer receipt. It's not going to be the kitchen order receipt or whatever you'll call it. It's itemized with the price.
What was the name for it? Was it online order?
Mm-hmm.
What was the name?
I want to say Chris, but I could be wrong on that. You see anything like that? It was just a few moments ago.
Was it Daniel?
It was Daniel. Very good. You got a great memory.
Are you almost out of your receipt paper?
Yeah.
Yes. Go ahead and fill it up because they're up.
And what's your name as well, sir?
Keep getting the order for me. Thank you.
Okay, now what's
Appreciate
your
it.
name,
It's a
sir?
receipt. It's a receipt.
What's your name?
What's your name?
My name is Tamara. What's your
Tamara.
name?
Thank you, Tamara. I got
The receipt right here.
I got you under your license.
Yeah, thank you. This is what I needed. They have to have this in order to go into a special app right here. I just want to make sure because sometimes they don't give it to me. So we have it right here. Without this, they don't get the amount that I needed. All right, so we got it. Why they don't give it, I don't know. It's a mystery to me, but they never do. It's not just them, it's every single place. But we got the receipts. Playing Miss Security Guard. I'm sure she's upset, but I've had weird things happen at Whataburger. So I do it for my security. But I've had weird things happen going in there asking for the receipt. I've had them deny the order. I've had them, they get crazy. But I'm gonna take a photo of the receipt and then bring you the food to your doorstep just to make sure. I don't always say it. This is like 2.2, but I tried not to say it, but I've said it before. They go, "What is your name? What is your name?" And I say, "God, that's my name." There is a funny joke about that. There's a sermon that happens. This little girl, she doesn't know what to say. So the little girl is called before the church. And we're talking about a congregation, probably Baptist, non-denominational, I don't know. It was some church, okay? And they have a microphone, and the pastor's talking in the microphone. And they asked this little girl, like, what is, I don't know, 124 divided by 4 or something like that. It's just basically something. And the little girl goes, "Jesus." And the whole church just laughed. It was something like, what's the square root of 81, if that's even something, you know? It was something like that. You know, they asked an arithmetic problem, basic one, like what's 9 times 9 times 9, you know? And she goes, "Jesus." And the whole entire congregation just laughs. That was her answer. I think the minister asked her, like, what's 9 times 9 times 9? If that's even a question, okay? What's 154 times 9? And then the microphone went right to the girl's mouth. And she goes, and of course, the way that it was done was a little bit different. So he goes, "What's 154 times 9?" to the little girl, and took the microphone and put it to her mouth and said, "And what answer is that, little girl?" And she goes, "Jesus." And everyone just laughed. It was something like that. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I want you to listen. The person that did the math in their head, get help, okay? Seriously, get help. Life is not about numbers. You're not a number. Your answer is not going to be a number. There is no number for Nero. The number for God is infinity. It goes on forever and ever and ever of all time. Okay? For the English majors, for all time. You get it? And if you're an English major and you're doing the English math in your head, get help. Go to your minister and ask him, who is this Jesus Christ? I want to know him. Because those numbers are going to weigh you down, wrinkle you up, and turn you into ash. And that English, you getting that IMLA format, as in IMLA format, or the okay, another thing too, all the linguists and the people that need everything pronounced perfectly, get help immediately. All those pronunciations are going to weigh you down and turn you to ash. Okay, all the English majors, get help immediately. Because the correct English is going to weigh you down and turn you into ash. Meaning it's going to kill you. Get help immediately. Your only answer in life is Jesus Christ. And don't forget it. If you work at Whataburger and you think that all Whataburgers belong to you, get help. Okay? If you think you're the owner of all Whataburgers across the nation, then get help. I could have been quality control. Now hang on just a second. Actually, quality control can go in there and do that kind of stuff. They even gave me the order, to be honest. They got a guy in front of school property right here off of Desa. It's Shamu. Here's the time. It's 9:42. Let me give you mostly the direction because you're gonna have to listen to the date. It's the 13th of January, February, March, April, May. So we're 5/13, about 2023. Shamu has a guy pinned down, spotlight, sitting in front of a school property. Here's the road right here. Okay, the time is about 9:43. I just passed there about 9:40. I got him spotlighted. This is an West Gambrel Road, which is about 4 to 5 blocks down from where the school is on Odessa. Okay, and he's just sitting there. They took out some paperwork and approached him for something, probably for walking on school property. Now, the reason I know this is because in White Settlement, where I jog, I cut through this little section, but only on Saturdays and Sundays do I go through this bank to do like these high step things. It's like going up an embankment to strengthen my legs, probably so I wouldn't have an ACL injury. I mean, it'll strengthen my knees and things like that. It's an embankment. Like, think of a skateboarder would go up an embankment, but you can go up this embankment. My father knows I do it. Now, this school property is known as, Lynn and I have walked their track during holidays in the summer. Brewer. Believe it's maybe middle or high school. And they got a guard out there during the day, so I go around. I don't go on school property on that reason. But this is after hours. So they're ticketing him for school property, for being on school property. Probably either after hours or for whatever reason. It was probably a future teacher that they're ticketing. And it was a Hispanic cop that was doing it. We're right here. I didn't get the cruiser number, but they saw me. They saw me pass. And the road is this road, if you can read it. And you know the date, which is May 11th of 2023. We're about to turn on Wabash right here. It's in this area where the ticket was given to this guy. Not in this area, though. The school, whatever it may be, probably elementary. He was probably walking on school property. And those legalistic shamus, which I call pigs or cops, ticketed him for that very thing. He needs to get 4 pieces of information to make sure the cop is fired. The first one is he has to get the badge number. It doesn't have to be an order, but he has to get the badge number. He has to get the rank of the officer, because that can match with the badge number. He wants to get the association, so Fort Worth Police, whatever it may be. They're corrupt. Then he wants to get the title or the name of the officer. They'll usually only give one name. Okay, whether it be the last. I don't think they give the first name. They usually give their surname. That for information he can take to City Hall to defend himself. He'll have to get a lawyer, unless he wants to pay the ticket. You want to get the badge number, you want to get the rank, you want to get the association, and you want to get that title, that name. Make sure you get that information to report to City Hall, because I've got 2 officers I'm reporting to City Hall. I've already reported on my Facebook page. I did not get the name of the Latino officer, but that was one of them back there that was serving that white guy a ticket. Okay? Get those 4 informations, present them through City Hall, and make the complaint. File the complaint.
Approaching a railroad crossing.
Doesn't matter the nation. It doesn't matter the nation. File a complaint against any of them. Irish, English, Latino, Chinese, Asian. Hoyt Claw was Chinese. Or no, he was Japanese. Yeah, Hoyt Claw was Japanese. The sergeant or his father was Japanese too. Probably put him up to doing it. It's probably his father's idea to rape those black women. Hoyt Claw got 266 years in prison. And he raped more than 9. He was charged with 9 counts of rape for not following protocol. Those guys look like they're following protocol, but those guys are going to get sued. That guy wasn't doing anything wrong. There's no way that guy was doing anything wrong. He was just sitting there on the curb. If they give a warning, he could still sue them because they're taking that guy's time and they have him spotlighted. Listening to Heroes by David Bowie. The drug problems are over, ladies. Your drug problem has ended tonight. If you don't get the drugs out of your house, they're going to kick in the door and get you for something else. So your drug problems are over with. You have no more drug problems. There's no such thing as marijuana in your life anymore. There's no such thing as. You no longer can drink. The alcohol does nothing for you. There's no reason for it. You know how polluted the alcohol is? The government puts chemicals in it. All the beer. The chemicals are in the alcohol, the liquor. They want you addicted. And you want to be because it's an easier life, isn't it? But your drug problems are over. I just ended them. Because you got this far in the vlog and it helps you. You can focus on the vlog and not on the drugs. There's Mellow Mushroom. Pizza Bakers right there. You'll probably be watching most all of these in rehab. You know what people do in rehab sometimes? To quit alcohol and drugs? You know what they do? They write on toilet paper. They'll make marks on toilet paper. I've seen them do it. They'll take a long roll of toilet paper and sit there and make marks, little marks on the toilet paper, little drawings, till the whole toilet paper is full of marks. So your drug problems are over. I solved them all. Just focus on the vlog. No more marijuana, no more alcohol, no more pill popping, no more any type of amphetamines, nothing. It's all done with. All your drugs have been solved. All your problems are solved. No more abortions. You're going to have 10 children or more if you're in your 20s. You can focus on the vlog. I hope you have 10 children. If you're in Texas, you have an abortion, you'll be tried with murder. And that includes any cop. By the time I'm finished with office, no one will have any drugs. There'll be no drugs in this whole country by the time I finish office. Not a single person will be able to do a drug of any type. Maybe aspirin if they're lucky. Maybe Tylenol if they're lucky. I'll remove them all. Every drop of drug. And I'll put every dealer against the wall. Even the cops that deal it. A lot of the cops will go to prison and they'll go, I didn't even know that was against the law. That's what they'll say. When I'm trying them and they go to prison, they'll say the words, I didn't know that that was against the law. That's what they'll say. And I'll say, now you know. You know the Jewish people, when they were put on the trains in the Holocaust, they were put on trains and they were shipped to all different types of places. Auschwitz, all of it, when they were shipped off to the different concentration camps. When they arrived at the concentration camps, a lot of them said, I didn't even know I was Jewish. It'll be that kind of thing. It'll be similar because it's not going to be right. But they're going to go to prison because they love Jesus. And that's what Jesus has called the police to do. He's called most of the police officers to go to prison so they can die for a cause and live forever in heaven. That's where Jesus Christ wants police officers. He wants them in prison to die for a cause, for the Christians. Because I don't carry your armor. I only carry the armor of God. Here is the iguana. Night of the iguana, and it's green. When I am king, you'll be first against the wall. And there is the one and only telephone booth. Talking about Superman.